This is from chapter 7.2, and it's testing claims using p-values. And here are your instructions. You're to write the claim mathematically, identify your null hypothesis and your alternative hypothesis, find the standardized test statistic z in its corresponding area, find the p-value, and decide whether to reject or fail to reject the null hypothesis. Then interpret the decision in the context of the original claim. Now, all of this can be done on the calculator. If you happen to have one, if you can go to MyStatLab, and when you get into it, go down to Tools for Success and find Chapter 7.2, and you'll be able to see the instructions for using the calculator for this. But here's your question. The U.S. Department of Agriculture claims that the mean consumption of coffee by a person in the United States is 24.2 gallons per year. A random sample of 120 people in the United States shows that the mean coffee consumption is 23.5 gallons per year, with a standard deviation of 3.2 gallons. And you want to your area that you're going to test is where alpha is equal to 5%, and you want to know, can you reject the claim at 5%. So here's your claim, and always when it's equal, it's going to be a two-tailed test. So your null hypothesis is equal to 24.2. That's the claim. So your H of A would be it's not equal to 24.2. So it's always a two-tailed test when you have an equal. And remember, your null hypothesis always has an equal sign, maybe less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, but it always has an equal part in it also. Your standard deviation was 3.2, and there were 120 people in the sample, and your mean was 23.5. So here's your formula that you're going to look at. And so you're just going to substitute those numbers into this formula. So the mean is 23.5 minus your claim, which is 24.2. The standard deviation was 3.2 divided by the square root of 120, which is the number in your sample. And if you look, if you divide this out, you'll get negative 2.40, and look that up on the table. And when you do, you'll find out that the area is 0.0082. So you're going to need to look in the back of the book on the table. Because this is a two-tailed test, that area is twice as big because there's a left-hand side of the tail and a right-hand side of the tail. So you multiply 2 times 0.0082 to get your p-value, and your p-value is 0.0164. And what you're doing next is you want to look at the p-value compared to your percentage that you want to look at. So the percentage alpha is 0.05, and since the p-value is less than 0.05, since this number is less than that, you're going to reject the null hypothesis. So you reject the claim. And the statement in terms of the question would be, there is enough evidence at the 5% level of significance to reject the claim that the mean consumption of coffee by a person in the United States is 24.2 gallons per year. Now, I would suggest that you go into, if you have a graphing calculator, go into MyStatLab and look under Tools for Success. And it will tell you how to go into the Stat menu and into Test, and you're going to do the Z-test. And you'll use, for mu, the null mu, it'll be 24.2, and then your standard deviation was 3.2. Your X will be 23.5, and N will be 120. And you just put those numbers in, press one button, and all of this that you had to do above here with this formula and the table and everything would be done for you. It'll give you the p-value, it'll give you the area under the underneath the curve in your graph. It'll just tell you everything.